Hi, my name's Ashley Miller, and I'm here at the Marketing 2.0 conference. I have the pleasure of interviewing an honoree. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your organization?
Well, my name is Eric Yaillen, and I am the founder of the MegaFluence method. What the MegaFluence method is a four-part framework on how to become a market leader in your niche in our current Web 2.0 world, as well as in the future decentralized Web 3.0 economy. Now, I've been doing these things in marketing and marketing communications for 40 years, but and by the way, I've been doing things like branding and pretty much everything regarding the foundational aspects of marketing. But what I'm most well known for is technology. What I find is that most people, they understand most of the basics in many cases, but their biggest sticking point, especially if they want to grow and scale, is technology. What they tend to do is they have the shiny object syndrome. They catch on to something right away, they get it, and then what they have at the end of the day is a bunch of duct tape solutions, which makes them far less productive and makes it far more difficult to do what they need to do. So I try to streamline everything to make them as productive and efficient as possible.
Nice. And with providing that, especially for individuals like myself that aren't as tech savvy or only know the surface level things when it comes to the internet, along with the progress that you've made, what are some strategies that you've implemented to make it easier for individuals like myself?
Well, we try to obviously give you the best systems that are the easiest to use. And again, if everything's all under one roof, it's a lot easier than saying, okay, where is this piece of data today? And then having to search through it. It's kind of like, think about just a simple file cabinet. If you don't have a good filing system, it's hard to find what you need to find when you need to find it. So, especially when you're dealing with customers, you need to have everything really in one place, all of your communication, all of your history, so that when you're looking them up, in case you need to refresh your memory, you know everything that you've done with them, all of your communication, whether it's email, text messages, Instagram DMs, Facebook DMs, all of that kind of stuff. So we simplify the process. That's the easiest thing to do. Now, we do a lot of hand holding, and in many cases, it's a mentoring process. So a lot of what we do is, we go into a business, we evaluate it, we see what they're doing right, what we can improve, and then we give them the time and space that they need to learn the basic systems. And we walk them through it, we hold their hand.
Well, thank you for that. And congratulations in being in attendance and being an honoree. With creating this mentorship and helping guide other businesses to become better when it comes to these things, what advice would you give to other individuals that want to follow in your footsteps?
Well, that's well, the first and most important thing in dealing with any customer is, communication isn't just you giving information and giving value. I'd say more than 80% of my time is just listening to the customer, because you have to understand what they want and where they want to go so that you can then devise the right strategy to get them from point A to point B. A lot of people, they have their idea in place. So again, I have the MegaFluence method. The MegaFluence method is four parts, a four-part framework. What do you need to be a leader in your niche? Well, you need the right foundation. You need to have a brand. Well, what is that brand? Well, a lot of that is based on that person's mission, vision, values, and it encompasses so many different things. Then the second thing they need is just systems, methods, processes. And by the way, that can be a piece of paper with a checklist on it. Too often, and it's amazing, it can be big organizations, they keep it all in their head instead of writing it down. So just, again, listening to their process, documenting it, so then it's easier for them to grow and scale. Another thing a lot of customers fail to do is identify who their ideal customer is. And then once they know who that customer is, they have to know how to best communicate with them. So those three parts of my framework have absolutely nothing to do with technology. It's foundational things. These have been around for ages. But ultimately, any business that wants to be as successful as possible and not leave money on the table, They need to know how to automate and streamline their operations. And I'm always amazed, even to this day, how many businesses they think that they can operate off of simple spreadsheets. And that's it.
Wow.
And I'll go into a business that might be doing, 5, 10, $20 million. And in fact, I'm working with a business now in Dubai that it's a real estate company, and they're doing well over $100 million, but they're leaving at least $100 million on the table.
Wow.
Because they don't have the right systems, methods, and processes. So 2 things. One is listening and understanding exactly what they're doing, trying to figure out how you can best streamline that process, and then giving them the mentorship and the tools so that they can ultimately succeed.
Perfect. And being here at the Marketing 2.0 conference, what has your networking experience been like?
Well, my niche is very unique in that a lot of people, like I said, struggle with the technology. But then because I'm getting into things that are very new and different, so people who are interested in that subject are obviously reaching out. So when I talk about a decentralized Web 3.0 economy, I'm dealing with things like NFTs, blockchain, the metaverse. And a lot of these things are very futuristic. Some of them can be in play today. The NFT marketplace is very interesting only because, quite frankly, 98% of what's out there right now is junk. It's just stupid JPEGs that people are spending a lot of money on, thinking they're going to make a lot of money, and they're losing money left and right. And the problem is that the companies that are implementing it, they don't think about their brand and how it will impact their brand. So everything we do, again, it goes back to that foundation. What kind of programs can I put together? How can I help improve or enhance that brand? So when I talk about those things, there's been a couple of people who have been very interested in the subject. And of course, they're then coming to me and asking me questions.
For other individuals that may be interested in the subject but aren't as knowledgeable on the verbiage, can you please define what NFTs in the metaverse means?
Okay, so an NFT is a non-fungible token. All that means is there's only one of a kind. Now, a fungible token is something that there's a lot of. So the most well-known fungible token out there is the US dollar. So you have a dollar, I have a dollar, they're the same dollar. I mean, they're 2 separate pieces of paper, but they're equal in value and they can go anywhere. Something that would be non-fungible would be, for instance, a piece of art. So an artist creates that original painting. Well, there is only one of a kind. Now, yeah, there's processes that they can replicate it, but there's only one of that original. So what an NFT is, it's a digital component of it that identifies something as being one of a kind. How it works in business is it can represent, so an NFT, again, what most people think of as the image. Well, a logo isn't a brand, but a lot of people confuse that as well. A logo is just a graphic representation of the brand. An NFT, the digital image part of it, is just the graphic representation of whatever it's representing. And what makes it important is what's called a smart contract. And in that smart contract, we can define tangible goods, intangible goods, digital goods, physical goods, items that are transferable, items that are non-transferable. And it all can be wrapped up. And it can be multiple things. It's not just one, it can be multiple things. So when somebody buys it, now they have a record that is on the blockchain. And what the blockchain does is it makes sure that there's a permanent, what's known as an immutable record, meaning it can't be changed. It's basically like a database, but here's the difference. If you're familiar with the spreadsheet, so a spreadsheet consists of rows and columns and cells. If you want to change a value in a cell, you can just go in and change the value, and no one's going to know about it. In the blockchain, once it's written, it's permanent. And if I want to make a change to that cell, a new record is always written. And then there's a relationship between the first record and the second record. So you always have a history of the ownership. So where that's really valuable is things that are like, well, collectibles. A lot of people will buy something, they'll get a certificate of authenticity, but it's only a piece of paper. Well, what happens if you lose a piece of paper?
Guess it's no longer authentic.
And that loses then the value in whatever you have. But if that certificate is on the blockchain, you always have it.
Nice.
So that's the value. And then you have to figure out, how can I incorporate that into whatever I'm doing with my whatever I'm selling or my brand. And then the other benefit of it is, and this is really important for people that are in the creator community, is you can create royalties. So think again, Picasso, when he created a great painting, a masterpiece, and he sold it, it was one and done. But think of all the people that have sold it and resold it and resold it and resold it. Well, with an NFT, you could write in a royalty. So every time someone does a transaction, Picasso gets a piece of the action again.
That makes sense.
So now it creates a legacy. So those are the types of things we'll counsel on that. Now, in Metaverse, it's just basically virtual worlds.
Okay.
And what we're moving to, just think of the Starship Enterprise in Star Trek, and people would go to the holodeck, and they would interact with basically images that were holograms and things like that.
Okay.
Well, we're moving to that. So instead of being in a Zoom world for your meetings, you can be in a three-dimensional and more immersive world.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your gems and your knowledge. For the people viewing, can you please give them a online presence where they can find you?
You know, probably one of the best places to start is just LinkedIn.
Okay.
And it's Yaillen, Yaillen. And you can get all my contact information there. So that's probably the best place to start.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, congratulations. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
No problem.